couple of stories, and you're going to ask questions?
I'll ask questions. Okay.
Yep.
And we're talking today with Dick Thelen of Lansing, Michigan, and the interviewer is James Smither of Grand Valley State University. We also have Steve Hammond of Grand Valley State sitting in as well, and so if you hear someone other than me talking, that will be him. All right. Dick, can you start us off with some background on yourself? And to begin with, where and when were you born?
Lansing, all my life.
Okay, and what year were you born?
27, March.
All right. And what did your family do when you were growing up?
What my dad did for a living,
Yeah.
you mean?
Yeah.
He worked at the call Lansing Ice and Fuel in Lansing.
Okay.
He pulled ice out of the floor for ice. In some wintertime, he delivered coal. He did that till 1940, and then he got a job for General Motors, and he retired from General Motors in Lansing.
Okay. Now, was that when General Motors was doing a lot of defense work and?
No, he went in 1940 before the war.
Well, we were building a lot of stuff for military
Yeah,
stuff.
well, yeah, but he was making some type of a car part. I can't
Okay.
think. But then when they switched over, it was a gun of shells. Right here in Lansing, they tore the plant down.
Okay. Now, when he was doing the coal and ice job, did he have steady work through the 30s, or was it on and off?
No, it was steady work.
Okay. And did your mother work, or did she stay home?
She didn't work for a long time, but since a good friend of hers through the church had a grocery store around the corner, and she would be a checkout girl there at the grocery store. Mm-hmm. My dad and mother never had much money. They had every penny they had to pinch or a lot of people, right after the Depression and all that.
Sure.
So it was stuff going for. Of course, me as a kid, I didn't know it.
Okay. And how many kids were in the family?
Three, 2 boys and a girl.
Okay. And where were you in line?
I was the oldest.
Okay. All right. Now, do you remember how you heard about Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, there's a story behind that. We put there every Sunday. We go out to Fowler area because that's where my dad and mother was born, out in that area. We just go either my uncle or my grandmother's in Fowler. Anyhow, we go, and coming home, we never had no radio in the car, and they heard nothing. So Dad, when I got home, Dad gave me X amount of penny or dollar, whatever it was, go up to the corner grocery store and get some ice cream, because we were going to have some ice cream. So I come back from the store and I told Dad, I said, they're talking about war in the store. And I said, well, what do you mean? Well, they are talking about Pearl Harbor, Dad, but I don't know what the heck they're talking about. Well, Dad didn't know. So we turned our radio on and we found out Sunday night that what was happening, put that way.
Okay.
And it declared war the next day, of course.
All right. Now, you weren't too old at that point. You were, what, 14?
14.
Yeah, 14. Now, at that time, though, before Pearl Harbor, did you pay much attention to the news about the war going on in Europe?
I looked at the paper and read it, but you was reading, a kid that age, you can't comprehend it. Well, put it this way, when I was 14, the Bears peddling papers when the war started, I never thought I would have to go into service.
Right.
It was a far away in my mind. I was just a little bitty kid.
Sure.
And it didn't even enter your head. You'd be involved in it before it was over. Of course, as it got, the war lengthened out and I got older, then you start thinking about it, of course.
Sure you do.
You change your way of thoughts.
All right. Now, as you do get older and the war keeps going on, and you realized, okay, it might go on long enough for me to have to get into it, what did you do? How did you deal with that?
Well, millions, there are some other kids in school too. That's when I joined the Navy in '44. I was 11th grade. Mm-hmm. I joined the Navy. Just to be in the Navy. I joined the Navy because I like to be around water, but I didn't think I'd be around that much water.
Yeah, you got a little more than you planned on.
It multiplied quite a bit. So.
Okay. Now, when you did this, did you have to get your parents' permission to enlist?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did they think if you're going in early? Did they approve?
They approved it, yeah.
Okay.
They wanted to let me or do what I wanted to do or have. So, yeah, they were real congenial, put it that way.
Okay. Now, you wanted to be on the water. Had you ever done any sailing or boating before that? Or?
No. I was on a swimming team in high school. And that was it. Of course, fishing. No, never had my own boat or nothing.
Right. And
or my dad didn't.
And you're in between a couple of Great Lakes. You're not on them.
So,
yeah.
I just like to be around water. I don't know. There was something that draw this. I don't know.
Okay. Now, did you know other people who were older than you who had kind of already gone in and come back maybe and told you about stuff, or?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, a man right, a family lived right kitty corner across the street. Harry Banger, he got killed in a B-17 over Germany, in 44, 43, one or the other in that area, long before I went in the service.
Right.
So we knew where I was learning what was going on, put it that way.
Okay.
And there was a couple, 2 doors down, men, their name was Hartford. Anyhow, they joined the service too, but they didn't have no, I don't know where they went really, I can't tell you.
Right.
No bad experience, put it
Right.
that way.
But there are certainly people all around and people older than the school who went in.
Everybody had stars in the windows, put it that way. I mean, it's very, very common.
Mm-hmm.
But I was lucked out because I was the only one in my family that had to, some of them had 2 or 3, you know.
Right. Okay. Now, when did you actually report for duty?
January 45.
January 45, okay. And where did you do your training?
Great Lakes.
Okay. How did you get down there? Did you
The Great Lakes, you mean?
Yeah, did you take a bus or a train or?
Well, what you do is you go to Detroit and they take you.
Okay. And then,
Train.
okay. And for people who don't know this, where is the Great Lakes Naval Base?
Oh, just outside Detroit. Or outside Chicago, pardon me.
All right. And then when you got there, what kind of reception did you get when you show up?
Oh, I don't know. We were quite a group of us. And from Lansing, for example, 2 of them I joined the Navy together. So we become, both of them I knew, the 2 I joined together.
Right.
They were friends of mine. So then we just went to Great Lakes and had our boot camp training.
Right. And what did that consist of?
What,
What did the boot camp training consist
boot
of?
camp mostly is your uniforms, how to wear them, keep your shoes polished, the right haircut, all your shots to take care of. That was, and just basically, their food. In my opinion, how to keep your bunk or your clothes. And of course, we had some marching and swimming, for example, and that training, running, this type of thing. To me, it was very limited. I thought it would be higher than it was. But it was, of course, some guys it was because they were out of shape, they were fat, and me, I had that paper out, and I was always moving.
Oh yeah.
So I remember had muscles on my muscles. I mean, I was a strong kid.
You were a swimmer too.
I was a strong kid.
Okay.
And some guys were just completely out of shape, and
Okay.
and a lot of them. In fact, one guy in boot camp, I wasn't involved, but I seen it. They had to take practically a wire brush to clean. In other words, he wouldn't take a shower. And his bed got dirty, and he actually stunk. I wasn't that close enough to observe it, but I heard it.
But the other guys cleaned him up?
So yeah, I mean these type of things. In other words, some guys won't take a shower only once a week or once a month or whatever, maybe never. I don't know. But it's to keep clean.
Right. Now, how much emphasis was there on discipline? Following orders?
There was a lot of that. Yeah, you had to pay attention to what was going on, and if somebody wouldn't pay attention, then he got derailed. You got to listen.
Right. And then did they, if you didn't have your bed made up right or your locker didn't look right,
Right.
then what happens?
Well, they actually, my chief, I understand certain different chiefs are completely different. Some would overlook a lot of it, some would really be hard. We had one that was real good, that was overlooked a lot, in my opinion.
Okay.
I look back at it compared to others.
Now, how easy or hard was it for you to adjust to that kind of way of life?
Well, it wasn't too bad. It was the biggest thing is you miss your friends and your home life, your family, or your mother, or your food. You're going into a completely different world, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Especially at 18 or 17 years old, you're pretty damn young.
Okay. Now, the other guys who were training with you, were they all 17, 18, or were some of them older?
No, there was a few of them. In fact, I never forget, some of them had a few years of college, and one was a minister someplace. Anyhow, the war was putting her over. So we took all kinds of tests in boot camp, that's one thing, to see what we was qualified to do. Well, I guess for 2.5 days we took tests, you know. Now I understand they didn't look at them, and we got our papers in a little place on the bottom or right-hand corner, about 2 inches square. They had a stamp. You know what the stamp was then? General Sea Duty.
Right.
And some of these guys had a couple years of college. You know? And one of them, I understand, was a minister.
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure, but somebody was telling me.
Yeah.
I remember that. But in other words, everybody had the same thing. Because the war was winding down in April, putting it over.
Yeah, because April, I mean, that's when April is when they go to land in Okinawa, and that's the last big battle.
Yeah.
And that's going to be over by June or whatever.
Yeah, it was winding down in April.
Except for the part where they're going to invade Japan.
Yeah. Well, that too.
That was still out there somewhere.
They didn't know what they were going to do there.
Right.
We took care of that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, how long did you spend in boot camp?
From January until middle of April. Okay. I can't tell you exactly.
Now, during the course of that time, did you ever get to go off the base?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you can't go into Chicago or anything like that?
No.
You're just stuck on there. Did you have any free time when you were on the base, or were you always marching or working?
No, there was no free. It was boot camp. No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So you go through all of that, and then once you complete boot camp, what happens?
Oh, they give us 7 or 8 days boot camp leave. Come home.
Right.
And then we had to report back downtown to the federal building, downtown Detroit. And there was a bunch of us. I think there was 19. And then from there we shipped to Great Lakes.
Okay.
And then from there we'd go ship to Shoemaker, California.
Okay. Now, how did they get you to Shoemaker, California?
By train.
Okay. And what do you remember about that train ride?
It was a long train because I understand they took us off the main line and parked us quite a while. It was a long time. It was quite a long time. I can't tell you how long, but a lot longer than normal.
All right. And what kind of sleeping arrangements did you have?
We had just seats you could tip back. There weren't bunks.
Okay.
No.
All right. And then how do they feed you?
We were fed by a car.
Okay. Now, could you get off the train when it stopped sometimes?
No.
Kept you shut in the train the whole time?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Well, that's the way it was.
Okay. And could you at least have the windows open so you could look at the scenery?
Oh yeah. We could do that.
Do you remember going through the Rocky Mountains or?
Oh yeah, it was a real scenic trip. We had of course I'd never been out there, so it was all new to me.
Right. Okay. Now, where was Shoemaker in California?
That was between the East Coast and San Francisco, in between there. There's a place. It's a camp there I call Shoemaker. What it is an outgoing base for the Navy.
Right.
Everybody go in there, and then they were stationed down. I'll tell you, a lot of people ask me, how come I got it on station on Indianapolis? But myself and 2 other buddies I was in the Navy together, we were all in a straight line by alphabetical order. But the other one was Mitchell, the other was name was Andrews, and I was way down at the other end. So the officer had to call off 1, 2, 1, 2, and the 1 stepped forward. But Otto Andrews was a 1. I was a 2, and Jerry Mitchell was a 2. Otto and the 1's won aboard the New Jersey in Bremerton, Washington. The 2's won aboard Indianapolis. That's how we got stationed in Indianapolis.
All right.
And we wanted to go together, but the Navy don't operate that way. He said, if I let you do it, I got 50 behind you.
Right.
So he said, no. So that's where we parted company.
Okay. Now, why did the Indianapolis need replacements?
Why?
Yeah.
They were a dry dock at the time, they were hit by a suicide plane and lost 8 men, and and some of the men were eligible for reemplacement, been on it long enough, this
Right.
type of thing. So they needed quite a few on a new crew.
Okay. And so you just happened to be at the right or wrong place at that particular moment.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And-
In other words, if I was the one, it would never happen.
Right.
But that way.
Now, how long did you actually spend at Shoemaker?
Well, about a little over a week is all.
Okay. And did you have any duty, or were you just sitting around?
No, I was working in chow line
Okay.
in a restaurant in the kitchen,
Right. Okay. So
doing dishes and doing this.
you got KP.
KP. Yeah.
Okay.
But they told me when they were signing it was just temporary things.
Right. Okay. So now you find out you're on the Indianapolis, and had you ever even heard of that ship before?
No. Well, they put us on a bus and they took us and showed us the ship. Then they took us to a place and we slept in the barracks for a while, quite a while. And while the ship's being repaired. So,
Okay. So how long do you think you stayed in the barracks?
well, better than 2 months. What it was is we reported aboard ship, and then there was a civilian welders on the ship. And Navy regulations, you got to have a Navy man with a fire extinguisher on the ship with Navy or civilian welder. So we stood muster, and they assigned me to this guy, see, man, and I went with him. So he told me next tomorrow, all I got to sit there. He's welding from here to the road or here to the wall, you know, and nothing's going to catch fire. All steel all around him. Anyhow, tomorrow bring something to read. Okay, so I brought whatever I brought. And anyhow, I said after I got through Grand Muster, the same guy that had me the first day grabbed me by my neck. Come on, they come with me. We were together for better than a month,
All right.
about 5 weeks.
Now,
We did that.
about how old was that man, do you think?
I can't tell you. I'm middle age.
Okay.
I would say a little beyond middle age.
Okay. So
I'd say 45, 50.
All right.
Nice guy, real sociable.
Okay.
He liked me, he took a liking to me for whatever reason.
Yep.
And that doesn't happen.
So you were his guy.
Yeah, I was his guy.
Okay. So they do all of that. Then you would have had some free time there, though, when you were off duty, right?
Yeah.
And so what could you do then?
Oh, we went down to KP where they had beer, and also we went into San Francisco a few times. You know, with a group of us.
And
The 2 guys I really got contact with is, funny part about it, we were on the ship. Anyhow, the 3 of us all came off alive. We were real close before the ship went down. And all 3 of us came off alive, which is unreal.
yeah, it certainly is. Yeah. Now, what do you remember about San Francisco or stuff you did there? Or where,
The what now?
what do you remember anything about what you did in San Francisco when you went there? Did you
No, just-
ride trolley cars? Or?
Just, right around the bars.
Okay.
Looked the town over most of it. We was all, didn't know what we was looking at really.
Sure.
We were always looking for something.
Okay. All right. So finally, once the ship gets ready, at what point do you actually board it? I mean, to actually go sail somewhere.
When the ship got ready, they took it out. They dried out of dry dock, and then floated around there for a day or so. I understand. I didn't see it go out myself. So anyhow, we were assigned a bunk and the locker, and then we took the shakedown cruise.
Okay. Now you're assigned a bunk and a locker. How much physical space did you have there?
How about the bunks are 4 high? Yeah, in other words, you only had about that much in between. You had to pick flat, get in.
Okay.
I was lucky. I was the second one from the bottom.
Okay. Why was that a good place to be on?
Oh, easy to get in.
Okay.
So I lucked out
Okay.
on that.
All right. Now you go on the shakedown cruise. So they're going to go out of San Francisco Bay and out on the ocean for that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't go very far. Some of the old timers said you normally go further than this, but for whatever reason we came back in a hurry. I guess they wanted to get that bomb out and get the hell out going.
Right.
The only thing I could think of at the
Okay.
time.
Now, when you first left the bay, a lot of times there are pretty big waves there. At least other people who've gone there reported that. Do you remember? Did the new guys get seasick when you went out, or?
Well, some guys got real seasick. I did. By me, nothing would go down, but nothing would come up, kind of bouncing in between. I didn't get sick as a lot of them. For some, I lucked out with that one.
Okay.
The only thing we got going is talking to some of the old guys on the ship. You know what they were asking? What in hell's our hurry? No, we got out the open country, open ocean, and they opened the throttle up on that thing, and away we went. In other words, we didn't horse around.
Now, was that in the shakedown cruise, or was that after the?
No, that was after we loaded the bomb.
Right. Okay. So basically, you do the shakedown cruise first, and about how long do you think you were out?
Oh, one night. So.
Okay.
It was a short time.
Right. So you weren't going to other ports or anything?
No,
You
no.
just sailed around and went
Sailed
back in?
around, checked out everything out, I
Okay.
guess.
Yeah. All right. So you get back in, and then how long are you in port before you go out again?
After the shakedown
Yeah.
of me, somebody asked me that, and I asked a couple guys that, and I really can't tell you for sure. I think around 2 days though.
Yeah. Well, that is the sort of thing we can always go look up, because
Yeah.
that
I mean,
information will be in a book somewhere.
You never don't put it all together.
But it was very short time.
Yes, it was.
Okay. Now,
we were in no hurry or they were in a hurry to get us going. We really moved out.
okay. So as you said, then once you do, and so it struck you as it struck the old sailors as kind of strange that you were going as fast as you were going.
Yeah.
Okay. And were you zigzagging when you went across?
No.
Oh.
There was no submarine could catch us going that fast. You know, it was supposed to be secured from enemy water from San Francisco all the way to Guam.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Pearl Harbor and beyond.
Now, as
We stopped in Pearl Harbor to let some passengers off.
okay.
We had some high fluting officers that we had. It was a taxi cab.
Right.
They left them off at Pearl Harbor.
Okay. Now, of course, this voyage of the ship is very famous for taking one of the atomic bombs out to the Marianas, but did you have any indication that there was unusual cargo or anything like that? You had no idea?
No. The big box was loaded on, it was loaded in the seaplane hangar.
Mm-hmm.
I stood mustered every day in the seaport hangar from here to that wall for the bomb every single day. It was a big crate. It was guarded by Marines 24 hours a day. And they had a yellow rope.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go beyond it. So we knew it was something highly secret, but no one knew. Some people said it was MacArthur. Senator's toilet paper from MacArthur. That's what somebody said.
Right. Okay. So that you knew there was something going on there.
Oh yeah. And the mechanism of the bomb was up in the officers' quarters, so out here. And there was 2 Marines on that little door 24 hours. Now there was no one's going to touch nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We knew that. So.
Okay. Now, once you left Hawaii, did you have any other ships with you, or did you sail by yourself?
No, from where?
From Hawaii out to Guam.
No. No. We was all by ourselves.
Okay.
We never got any ships near us. Well, we didn't until we got sunk. There was nobody there.
Okay. So you're going out. You're going out. Do you remember what the weather was like on that voyage? Was it good or stormy?
It was swell. It was a little rain. It was ordinary weather, I guess, for the amount. No, it wasn't bad. The ocean was. It wasn't too rough, put that way.
Okay. Now, on that voyage, what kind of duties did you have?
Mostly it's 8 hours on and 4 hours on, 8 hours off. And mostly a watch duty.
Mm-hmm.
I had 2 different places where I had to stand watch. One was on the twin 20s up on the bow. One was they call air 2 and 4 up on the mast.
Mm-hmm.
So on the 8 hours off, you take a shower, shave, eat, sleep. A lot of people think 8 hours off is a long time, but you get all that other stuff done, you only got about 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
Right. And then you've got another 4 hours.
Then you had to go back on watching it.
Yeah. So you don't really sleep normally.
No, you don't sleep 8 hours. No.
Okay, you're doing it that way.
Yeah.
All right. So this goes on. And do you have an idea about how long it took to get from Hawaii out to Guam? Was it?
Oh, I never really kept track of the time. I was told how long it was, and later on I was told that we set a speed record. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you know that.
I did not know that.
Well, yeah, 9 days, and I understand it's still in existence. How long it took from San Francisco to Guam. We set a speed record. And then we talked about here Navy reunion a few years ago, and some of the officers said it's still in existence. So, for what it's worth.
What it's worth, okay.
Yeah.
And now, aside from Hawaii, did you stop any place else before you got to Guam?
No.
Okay, you sailed right
Oh,
there.
Tinian.
Okay, you went to, well,
We dropped the bomb off at Tinian, then it went to Guam.
okay. So you're, now, did they take the bomb off, was it secret, or did they just bring a big crane up and take the big box off?
We had a crane on the ship, because we had to lift the seaplanes out of the water. They just put it, loaded on a truck, and away it went. But it was highly safe. I mean, there was some high fluids there. And we always wondered why we delivered it on July 26th, and it never dropped a bomb until March
Or August.
or August 6th. Why that length of time? But I understand they had to build a hole in the ground with cement to put the bomb in to hoist it up in the plane. There was a lot of pre-stuff before they could load that.
Right.
So I'm told.
Okay. And then you went to Guam. Did you get off the ship there, or did you stay on the ship?
No, we stayed on the ship. We were, nobody got, nobody. Some of the people got off, but I didn't get off.
Okay.
Some of them, I guess, got off. But
All right.
no, we stayed on. Mostly, we weren't there very long. We got my fuel and material, and the captain asked for an escort to Leyte, but he turned down. So we just took off. We were in a kind of a hurry. I don't know why. I know that because a friend of mine I found out after I got home. He was a radio man. He was going to be transferred on that ship, but we left without him. Lucky enough, George Cross, he just died here about a year ago, and he talked about it a couple of years ago.
Okay. Now, did the ship leave Guam before the bomb was dropped?
Oh yeah, the ship was sunk and we was out of water before the bomb was dropped.
Okay. So the war was
July 30th, we was out of water August the 3rd,
okay.
and the bomb was dropped August the 6th.
Okay. So you've just headed off, and you don't know what it was that you left behind in Tinian or anything else like that.
No.
And so you went out there, and so you haven't gotten into any battles or anything like that,
No.
and you're just going back home.
Well, we knew we weren't going back home. We were going farther away from the country to join the 7th Fleet for the invasion of Japan.
Okay.
We weren't coming back home.
All right. So you're out.
Some people thought we were.
Yeah, that's sort of some of the versions of the story that are out there is something like that. Or,
Oh yeah, I've heard people say, we're coming back home, but we weren't. We're going away from the country.
okay. But you were still, at this point in the war, and of course you wouldn't know most of this, but were you zigzagging or just going straight?
We were going straight, and we were zigzagging for a while. Really, you're on the ship. You really can't tell much how much they're zigging or how much, especially when you're so new aboard the
Right.
ship. In other words, everything is so new. I look back at it, and well, it was in the court martial. Zigzagging would have made no difference. So
Yeah.
they still would have got after they spotted us.
Okay. So the ship wasn't going fast enough to outrun a submarine at that point.
No, we were going 17 knots.
All right. But also, I guess the other thing would be that if the ship is all by itself,
Yeah.
as opposed to in a convoy, it would be a lot harder to notice real changes of course, maybe,
Yeah,
because you
Well-
can see all the other ships doing it, then
Yeah.
that's dramatic. But if it's just you,
yeah. We were by ourselves. And by coincidence, the captain of the submarine said that at the trial, it was very, very lucky because they came up to charge their batteries. The ship was here, and now and then a moon would show up. The silhouette between the moon, the ship, and him. Now, if it was any other location or direction, they never seen us.
right?
It was just a coincidence of the whole thing.
Okay. And it is this point now, you are sailing, you're trying to join the rest of the fleet, and the submarine now has spotted you. Now, where were you or what were you doing when the first torpedo hit?
I was sleeping. that at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 to 8 in the morning, I had a watch up on the twin 20s up on the bow. So my friend, which I knew very well, he had a watch up there from 12 to midnight. Myself and another guy you take a Navy blanket and turn it in two to make a sleeping bag, sew it. It was hot, so hot below deck, we'd go up on topside and sleep up there. So you take your shoes and you take your clothes and make a pillow of it. That's what I did. About 11:45, he went up on watch. At 10 after 12, 20 minutes later, the ship blew up, 25. So in other words, I didn't sleep very long.
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely asleep because when the ship torpedoes hit it, I went up in the air. I can't tell you how high. But I moved over from about here to that wall because that's where the cables go around the ship.
Mm-hmm.
I had a hold of a cable, picked myself up. So they blew out and I moved over 8-10 feet. So I can't. In other words, I could have been blown right off the ship without a jacket.
Now, what part of the ship were you? The bow, stern, in the middle, or?
It was way up on the bow.
Okay. And where?
And after things started happening, I couldn't find my clothes. Anyhow, I went looking for Joe Jackham up in New Jersey, but the guy was supposed to wake me up. I couldn't see him. Well, I looked out there and the 30, 40, 50, the bow was gone. In other words, they blew the bow off. So I always thought that when the bow went, the Jackham out went, see, because we used to walk around up there, including myself, with earphones, and walk around. They call it a chain locker up around, and just walk around up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I was Joe was walking around up there and away he went, see, but it didn't happen.
So you weren't that far up in the bow, so the very front part of the bow was blown off.
We were, I could bring the ship, I could go get the picture of the ship and show you exactly.
So were you in front of the gun turrets?
No, but I was beside a gun turret.
Okay.
That was in front of it, I was beside it.
Right.
Between the gun turret and where you walk and the cable.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, this happens, you wake up, you look around, you try to find your friend. Could you see much? Was there
So after
anything
the torpedoes hit, then where the hell, I just got, after I got blown up in the air, I stood up and about a minute or two later, there was another explosion. That second torpedo hit and blew a hole in the bottom ship. That's when it really rumbled. Well, me and, I don't know, 8, 10, 12, I forgot exactly. We went aft to go to our general quarters. The whole quarterdeck was engulfed with flames. Mm-hmm. You couldn't cross it.
Yeah.
So we went forward again. And that's when some of us, a couple guys, well, hell, this thing, we're going to sink, you know. So as the ship started lifting to the starboard side, then myself and, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 other guys, we threw 3 life boats off,
Mm-hmm.
rafts.
Rafts, yeah.
And after we threw them off, then in behind the 8-inch guns, had great big canvas bags of life jackets. So somebody cut them down and I got a jacket.
Okay.
By that time, everybody asked me, so where were you when you jumped off the ship? I didn't jump off the ship left me.
It just went down and you floated.
It went down and I swam away.
So it wasn't something where it created some weird kind of suction or something to pull you down with it.
No, I had talked to men in hospitals and reunions afterwards, and there was very, very little suction. The ship, I could see the accelerator moving, but go down so far and bob up, so like a big bobber.
Mm-hmm.
And the last plunge, now I talked to guys that were real close to it. The last plunge, it just went down real slow.
Okay.
There was no suction
Okay.
whatsoever, they said.
All right. So how long do you think it was, or how long have they told you it was between when the first torpedo hit and when the ship went down?
We had different questions we had to write down in the hospital. In your opinion, from the time the torpedoes hit, the time the ship went down, that's 12 minutes. That's real fast. I forgot what I put down.
Yeah.
But everybody had a number, so they come up with 12 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. I've had people ask me, well, Somebody have a stopwatch? No, that's how they come up with a number. What is it? I said, I forgot what it was, but that's how they come up with a number.
Yeah. But it was not very long.
12 minutes, when you're 610 feet long, everybody says that's real quick. Really, really fast.
Okay. So now you're in the water. Now, could you see other guys when you were in? Or?
Oh, yeah. Well, it was real dark. You couldn't see too many. You really didn't know how many there were till daylight.
Okay. Now, did you find any of the life rafts right away, or were you
No.
just floating by yourself?
Somebody found the rafts, which is fine. No, I didn't see a raft. I didn't get a raft. I just, my life jacket, all I had.
Okay. Now, once the ship has gone down, and did you have guys that you were kind of close to or could talk to, or were you just floating by yourself initially?
There was a group, I always thought around 50 or 75 maybe. It's hard to determine because we had waves putting as high as this room. You're either coming up or going down. And you couldn't tell. The only time you see anything is you're top of that swell.
Okay.
So you really, my opinion, it's hard to determine, say there's 50 or 150. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
There wasn't that many, but I mean, you couldn't tell,
Okay.
really.
But there were others certainly around. Now,
Oh, there was
yeah.
somebody too, yeah.
Now, the swells, I mean, was it windy, or do you know, or was there a storm around? Or?
No, it was just big swells. There was no storm or nothing. It was just, but Monday afternoon and Tuesday, the ocean calmed down to half the 4 or 5 foot swell. In other words, you can bounce around with that and see what's going on. But the bad part about it is that's when the sharks moved in. So that thing.
So in the first day or so, and you're floating around in the big swells and so forth, I don't know, what kinds of things were you thinking about or wondering about?
Well, we were trying to help each other. For example, a kid I went through boot camp with, Sir, H-E-U-R, I think it is. Anyhow, he was in the water, and he had his shoes on. He had fairly closed. Yes, I told him, Bob, just take your shoes off. They're going to just weigh you down. I can't swim, Dick. He died with his shoes on. So everybody,
Did he have a life preserver?
Oh yeah, he had one. But he wore himself out kicking himself.
Oh, okay. So
Kicking with him.
his body just kind of gave out on it.
Yeah, he just wore himself out. That's what he did. Exhaustion.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I think. I actually didn't see him die, but he disappeared.
You just lost track of him
The shark
somewhere.
guy, I can't tell you what happened.
Okay. At what point did you start to feel hungry or thirsty?
Oh, you do that the first day, but then, my opinion, you get so hungry and so thirsty, then after that, your feeling is gone, and you go into a different, what's the word, I can't think, a mode of thinking about it. You get so tired, okay, even with the sharks around, hell, the second day, I didn't give a damn if I lived or died. You were so hungry, so thirsty, and you're looking where everybody was going, and, I said, hell, I ain't gonna get out of this situation.
All right. And were the sharks attacking people? Were they just looking at you?
Oh, yeah, they would, you'd get outside the group, they would hit you. See, a lot of guys died in the water from injuries or just natural death. My opinion, I had other guys say the same thing. That was bait for the sharks. In other words, they wouldn't touch me. But 2 nights, it was Tuesday and Wednesday during the day, I was half asleep into a kind of a half asleep mode, and I felt something go by my leg or the ripple of the water or something. I think. Anyhow, I looked and there was a couple of twice. The shark was poking me in the life jacket with his nose. So I know we was about this far from my eyes. He looked, I don't know why he swam away. I ain't figured it out yet.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He might have had enough to eat. I don't know.
Well, I didn't look good to him or something. I don't know.
Well, they did say
He left.
they're attracted to the blood. Or the wounded men would be obvious.
Yeah,
I guess targets.
maybe he wasn't hungry or I don't know. I ain't figured it out yet.
But that must have been just a very strange thing to happen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because you would think that a shark is going to come and,
Yeah.
and get you, and they
Well,
don't.
see, talking about giving up with, let me think, Wednesday afternoon, it was getting dark, late in the afternoon. And I was a group, probably 12, 15 guys, I don't know. Well, one guy, I know who he was. He said, hell, they ain't looking for us now. They ain't looking for us. This is where we're going to die. I went, and, okay, which is, I believe him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then Thursday morning, of course, here comes the plane, so they should change our tune. But we got through the night, and I lived till Thursday morning, so they spotted us.
Okay. Now, what kind of kept you going during all that time?
A lot of people ask me that, and Esther's heard this story a lot of times.
Yep.
My dad had signed me for me, like I told you, to go in the Navy a while ago. And I come back from boot camp. He took me to the radio station. He shook my hand real firmly. He said, Dick, I want you to come back. He said, Dad, the war is winding down Europe. I said, I think there's nothing going to happen to me. Every time I was ready to give up, it was my dad's face. And I told him when I got home, he brought me home. He actually brought me home. I said, I'm not going to give up for my dad. So I didn't.
Okay. And do you remember the first time you spotted or heard one of those planes?
Oh, yeah, well, Chuck Gwynn and I become real close because his daughter and my son got real close friends. And I've been to his house, he's been to mine, because he had another daughter that lived in Bluefield Hills. We got really close together, Chuck and I. Real close friends.
Real quick, you have to explain who Chuck Wynn is.
You what?
You have to explain to who Chuck Wynn is. The pilot that you're
Oh, Chuck Gwynn.
Yeah, who? Yeah, because I asked about the first time you kind of spotted the
Okay,
plane.
Chuck Gwynn was the name of the pilot.
Okay.
Yeah, pardon me, I didn't
Right,
think of
yeah.
that, Steve.
There you go.
Man, 100%. Anyhow, when he discovered this, well, what the deal is, I can tell you more about it here on the. I can go, if you want me to, I can go into the trailing antenna part of it. So, okay, Chuck had a trouble with his radio antenna. It would whip into the tail section of the plane. So he was asked to take this, they call it a whirligig, and to hook it to the antenna so it wouldn't whip around. So the radio man put the thing on there and it fell off. So the radio man had a hell of a time trying to wind it in. So he got on the radio and asked Chuck or somebody to come back and help him. But Chuck put the pilot and co-pilot, and he went back to help this man. Oh, let me throw the chute away, pardon me. I had to take him. Anyhow, when he got back to help them with the antenna, by coincidence, by luck, he happened to look down. He seen an oil slick.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, he finished the antenna. Then he went back up to his co-pilot and said, "You see the oil slick?" I said, "No." "Well, you don't look straight down like he does." See? So Chuck said, "Well, there's an oil slick back there." So Chuck dropped X amount of feet and made a circle. Well, he could see the oil slick, where he went. But he couldn't see the man in the water. So he couldn't see no submarine or nothing. So Chuck said, "Well, drive a few more 1,000 feet." How many, I can't tell you. Anyhow, he did. And that's when he seen men in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chuck got on the radio. That was around 11, 12 o'clock Thursday morning.
What kind of plane was he in?
PB-1 Ventura, patrol bomber.
Okay. But it wasn't a seaplane.
No,
No.
there's another whole story about the seaplane.
Okay. Now he's seen you. And do you remember seeing his plane?
Oh yeah, when Chuck spotted us, he had his bomb bay doors open.
Mm-hmm.
And he come over me, and I told Chuck, I couldn't see the bomb, but I could look up and see him. And then when he was going over us, he was floating his plane in one way. In other words, he was letting us know that we seen him.
Right.
He seen us. Okay. And but the seaplane that came, that didn't land in the water till 2, 3 o'clock that afternoon, something like that.
Okay. Now, did Chuck tell you? Had he heard anything about the Indianapolis being missing, or did they not even know?
No. When they picked up Ben with a seaplane, 2, 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon. That's the first they knew the ship was sunk. It was from Sunday night to Thursday afternoon. No one knew nothing.
Okay. Now, when did you actually get picked up? Was it with that first?
Friday morning, the USS Dowell come in
Okay.
around midnight, a little before, with their spotlights on. I was picked up 1, 2, 3 o'clock, sometime in the middle of the night. I can't tell you that.
So did you see the? Had you seen the seaplane land and not find you?
Oh yeah, I see it land, but when it hit the water, then I was so low in the water you can't see.
Yeah.
But the Doyle that picked me up picked the men off the seaplane. That's how close.
Okay.
It was 58 men was on the seaplane. The Doyle picked up 96.
Mm-hmm.
He picked up some of the stragglers, then he went to the seaplane.
Right.
They picked up them last. So I'm told.
Okay. And now, when the ship gets to you, how do they get you up onto it?
Good question. What the deal is they dropped survivor gear. Me and 3 other guys go swim to that raft.
Mm-hmm.
2 of the guys, their heart stopped along the way, and 1 guy was taken by a shark. I was the only one made to the raft.
Wow.
And when I got to the raft, there was 2, 3, 4, I can't tell you which was on the plane. There was 4 or 5 or whatever. Anyhow, they were out of their heads. They were too weak to help me on the raft. I couldn't get on the raft. I never did get on the raft.
Did you hang on to it?
Well, yeah, I took the rope off my kipot and wrapped around these little ropes that go on the outside of it. I wrapped it around there and tied it. So I stayed with the raft. But that's where I was picked up.
Now, did the raft come with any kind of supplies attached to it?
If it was supplies on it, it was gone and ruined. I didn't get anything.
Okay. All right. And then how long do you think you were hanging on to that thing before they got
I
you
know.
up?
I was hanging on it from about, I'd say, in the neighborhood of 2, 3, 4 o'clock Thursday afternoon until midnight that night.
Okay.
8, 10 hours.
So putting the sequence together then, so the seaplane, the first plane, the patrol bomber spots you guys late in
Right.
the morning, and then the seaplane lands in the afternoon,
Right.
and then later in the afternoon the ship comes up to join them.
There's 5 ships.
There are 5 ships, okay, and they
Yeah.
start all looking around, and so the afternoon you get on the life gear or whatever, hang on to that.
Oh. You asked me how I got on the boat.
Yeah, well, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to put the sequence of events together for you personally. So, but you're still hanging on to that for quite a while before, well after it's dark, before you get up on the boat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I hung on to it for a while from,
so-
I'd say, middle of the afternoon or thereabouts until midnight or so.
Okay.
A little after, maybe.
Yeah. So now, how do they get you up on the boat?
Oh, okay. Come on, original question. Anyhow, they dropped these rope ladders, they call them, big 8 foot wide or 10,
Yeah.
whatever, and then right to the water. So they were helping us up. Anyhow, I thought that I could just walk, climb up on the rope. Well, I got so far, I grabbed a hole, I couldn't hardly grab a hole. So anyhow, there was a couple guys that got in the water and pushed us up on the rope. See, these destroyers is only about 8 foot. It ain't very much to the top of it to the water. So anyhow, that's what helped me up. And I got up on the ship and I thought I could walk off, but I fall flat on my ass right quick. And then what they did is they gave me some fluids, orange juice, I think it was. Anyhow, the first part was a Navy cup with about that much 100% alcohol, I was told, to get your heart going and your blood moving. So they give me that, and they put me in the shower, get me some of the diesel fuel off on me. Then I passed out in the bunk. So
And how long did you sleep?
it was a hit and miss. Funny part about it, my Navy buddy Jackham I was talking about at the bow, we never seen each other all the time in the water. When they picked me up, the second bunk, it was right in the lowest bunk, this far away, there lay Jackham on. So I said to the man taking care of me, I said, when he wakes up, wake me up. So, okay, I passed out. So Jackama come to, and he told that same guy. When he wakes up, wake me up. And this guy laughed like hell. Jackama told me the whole story. I didn't know it. Jackama said, "Boy, yeah, you told that guy to wake me up, or wake you up when I got woke up, and I passed out. It was the other way around." But Jackama told me the story. It was just, kind of coincidence. So that's what happened. We both survived, but then we both passed out on the way to the hospital. I don't remember going into the hospital.
Now, did they take you to a hospital ship or to a hospital on land, or?
No, there were 3 different locations. Samara, Pelelu, and Guam. So some of them they took right directly to Guam Hospital. Why did they go all to Guam? Because there was too many people to take. The hospital couldn't take care of them. So they put us 3 different places. They put me in Pelelu, and when we got better, they put us on cots, and in the landing bar, they'd take us out to a hospital ship out in the bay. And me and 4, 5, 6, 7, I forgot how many, would ask them, how come the hospital ship don't come into port to get us? And we all, 5 or 6, 7, was in harmony. None of us remembered going on the island. None of us. Every one of us, the same, all in harmony. And these guys laughed like hell. They thought that was funny because we all said this, had the same answer at the same time. And it was just unreal. It was so.
How long did it take for your body to kind of work its way back to normal after all this?
Well, I can't tell you because I really can't tell you how long we was in Pelelu. I really I can't tell you. I know we was on the hospital ship for about 2 to 3 days, and then we went to Guam for a hospital. Then they took us out. They called a submarine rest camp to fatten us up to come home and wait for transportation. So.
All right. Okay. Now, are they keeping the Indianapolis crew pretty much together during this time, or are you?
They did, and we got to Guam. Yeah, the ones that Samara was flew to Guam by plane. The one from Pelelu was taken to Guam by Alandi. I mean, Tranquility.
Okay, so the hospital ship.
Hospital ship. And that's how we got there. And I understand it was it was 97, so we went to.
Okay. Now, did they keep the surviving officers and the enlisted men together, or did they?
No,
do things
I think
differently?
we were apart. I really can't tell you on that.
Another miscellaneous question in the process. Navy ships usually had a small number of black sailors on board to be stewards or servants or things like that.
We had 12 of them, and they were cooks for officers.
Right.
But I think there was one in the water, and because of the way he talked and his face, it's hard to determine who you were with the diesel fuel.
Right.
Anyhow, some of them made a statement, none of them got off the ship. Well, I think one got off. That's my own opinion.
Okay, so you think maybe one was in the water, but he didn't make it out of the water.
Right, didn't make it out of the water.
Okay.
And of course, there's a story behind that. I mean, I won't. At a Navy reunion quite a few years ago, so none of the Afro Americans made it off, because all them sharks like dark beans. So that's a little joke there. Don't put that in like that.
Well, I mean that was just done as a joke at the time. I don't think.
Oh yeah,
that
it was a joke at the time.
But it was also quite possibly they didn't swim that well.
No, well, no, I heard, I don't know if it's true or not, where their sleeping quarters were right down below, above the 8-inch powder room where the second torpedo hit.
Yeah.
And I was told that's where some of them were, or maybe most of them, and that's why they didn't survive.
Right.
That's a story I hear. You really don't know.
But there's so few of them anyway, and most of the crew didn't survive all of this. So.
No. Well,
How many were in the crew total, or what did they told you about that? What's the full complement of the ship?
1,197, and we had to make this paper out. 900 got off the ship, they say. So roughly 600 died in the water.
Okay. Now the captain survived, though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
because he was. There's
A lot of people
story about
rating for that, but he got lucky enough. He got a raft, and he was strong enough and went through it. So. The raft was a lot easier, but it was no picnic either, sitting out there in the hot sun being baked without food and water.
Right.
I mean, there was no picnic on a raft.
Okay. So you're together, you're on Guam, and about how long do you think they kept you on Guam?
I can't really tell you.
You think
I'd
it's-
say probably later 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, so weeks, but not months or something.
Oh,
like
no,
that.
no.
Okay.
No.
And then, do they bring you back to the States together at that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hollandia was a small aircraft carrier. I got pictures in the scrapbook of it. We slept on cots on the hangar deck on the way home, which back then was good transportation. Then we could walk the flight deck in the daytime for exercise, or sit out there in the sun ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So it was real, and the food was good. So it was good transportation.
Okay. Now, when you eventually get back to your family later on, did they tell you anything about what they had or had not been told about what happened to you?
No, I got I can get it out and show you later. I got a targraph in the other room to tell you exactly. There was 5 from Lansing on the ship. 3 of us came off alive, which is a good percentage. And the 2 that didn't come off, they were missing in action. Mine is wounded in action.
Okay. So the first news they have, was that, so had anything shown up in the newspapers about the Indianapolis sinking?
It was headline news.
But was that a headline before any information got home?
Oh yeah, yeah,
So your parents would have seen in the newspaper that your ship was sunk?
yeah.
Okay.
I can show you the paper. I got it downstairs. Yeah.
Okay. Now, did they think you had died, or did they just hope you made it, or?
No. The telegram indicates that I made it.
Right. I guess what I was asking
But-
was, did they see the newspaper story before they got the telegram?
That's a good question.
Okay. So
I really, tell you the truth about it, I don't know. I think they got the telegram first.
Okay.
I really can't tell you.
Because I suppose since they hadn't realized the ship was lost in the first place, until they started picking you guys up out of the water,
No.
then probably the telegram could get there first.
Oh yeah. You see, it was. I can't tell you that question. I can't answer.
Okay.
It. I don't know.
Now, do you know when you actually got back to the States? You know, they take
What
you
day
off,
we got back?
or roughly when you got back.
Yeah, it was. It was in October.
Okay.
Because of pheasant hunting season. It was in October 20th, I think. So in other words, I was a pheasant hunter.
Okay, so you're home before October 20th.
So we went pheasant. I went pheasant hunting right down
Now,
here.
were you still officially in the Navy at that point?
Oh yeah, we come home for 30 days. They call 30-day survivors leave.
Mm-hmm.
Then after we come home for 30 days, then 19 of us had to report down to the Federal Building downtown Detroit. And there they took us out to Grow Seal, Navy Air Station outside Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent 1 year there after.
Okay. So
Okay.
what did you do there?
They put me in transportation. Heavy equipment, bulldozer, we run the snow blowers on the runway. In the wintertime, we transferred stuff from Bunker Hill, Indiana to Sawbridge Field by truck and in transportation. That's where I got interested in driving truck. I know you don't know this. I drove truck for 44 years for a living. I figured I had a chance to drive truck for a man on the interstate. When I was 21 years old, I said to myself, I went to the shop for a while, and that wasn't my work.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, man, I might be like the truck driver. So I started when I was 21, and I quit when I was 65. So I had 44 years of it.
All right.
So I liked it.
Now we're getting close to the end of this tape, so we're going to a lot, basically your military career. We've got the overview, and we've kind of gotten you through to the last part where you were driving trucks and equipment out at Grow Seal, and then went from there to become a truck driver. Now we're going to have Steve Hammond come in and ask you some kind of follow-up questions about parts of the story. So you just talk to him, and then
Okay.
I'll go from there.
All right. Now, when You obviously, everybody's getting anticipated for the invasion of Japan, right? When you
Yeah.
enlisted, okay. How did you
Yeah.
feel when you were on the ship in Indianapolis, not knowing about the bomb part, of course? Did you feel you were going to be part of that invasion? Were you all nervous about it, or that you're going to hit the
Well,
shores?
yeah, well, we were told after we dropped the bomb off on Guam and everything, that's where we're going to Leyte. And they told us